anywhere in her. But then what else would he expect from a woman dressed in a man's black work shirt beneath a tightly cinched waistcoat made of thick leather and metal studs, black breeches and short boots? 2 short knife sheaths were tied to both forearms, with a pair of handcuffs dangling from her right hip, and a small sword strapped to her left. Thick, coppery red curls were tied back at her neck with a black ribbon, yet stray curls as wild as she was had slipped free and framed the sides of her face. Good God, who was she? "Thank you for coming," she called out, her eyes never leaving the man in front of her. A faint foreign accent Merritt couldn't identify thickened her voice. "But I'm not in need of rescue." Well, he could certainly see that. He arched a brow and leaned his shoulder against the wall, settling in to watch whatever happened next.
"Who says I'm here to rescue you?"
Her sensuous lips curled with amusement. "In that case, he's mine. I got to him first."
"I would never attempt to pull rank."
Not with a woman, and certainly not one armed to the teeth. Good Lord, was that a gladius sword sheathed at her hip?
"But I'm a bit foggy tonight, so you'll have to explain to me why I would want him."
"He broke into the shop."
"I see."
Actually, he didn't have a clue.
"And you are?"
"Rich man, poor man, beggar man, thief," she mused, chanting out the beginning of the old children's rhyme. With a slow smile, she added, "Taker." He narrowed his eyes on her. The streets were filled with thief-takers these days, lurking about in the wakes of the riots to arrest opportunistic men who used the confusion and destruction to cover their own crimes. Low-hanging fruit. Merritt had no patience for them, knowing they were profiting off the riots as much as the men they captured. But this one, sweet Lucifer, he'd never seen one like her before. Hell, he'd never seen a female thief-taker at all. His boring night had suddenly turned interesting. "So, as you can see, I don't need your help," she reiterated. Apparently not.
"Good, because I wasn't offering it."
He ran a deliberate and assessing gaze over her.
"I didn't realize Bow Street employed women."
"Bow Street!" Keeping the knife lightly pressed under the burglar's chin, she turned sideways to shoot Merritt an expression of such disgust that he wondered for a moment if he'd sprung a second head. "Do I look weak and corrupt to you?"
"Not at all."
Actually, she looked magnificent and deadly. "Bow Street," she muttered in an aside to her prisoner. "He thinks I'm a runner. No honor among thieves with that lot. Did I behave like a runner to you?" The thief stiltedly shook his head, afraid to move more for fear of slitting his own throat. She slid her eyes to the criminal. "Did I ask you for bribery money to turn you loose or make an offer to split the profits of what you've stolen?" "Of course not." She scoffed a snort of revulsion. "Bow Street, please."
"Then who are you?"
Merritt asked. "You first." Damnation. Where was a good false identity when he needed one? He really needed to work on that. The first name that popped into his head.
"Mrs. Fitzherbert."
"And I would have guessed you were Lady Jersey." It was her turn, then, to finally scrutinize him with a good, long perusal. If she were surprised to see him looking like a wraith in the night, the hilt of his own sword visible beneath his open greatcoat, she didn't show it, and her expression remained as enigmatic as ever. She arched a brow. "Prinny's tastes in women have definitely turned unique, I dare say." His lips pursed in mocking insult.
"Are you saying I don't look feminine enough to entice a prince?"
"Not at all. Only that you look younger than I would have assumed." He sent her his best rakish grin.
"It's not the years, it's how you wear them."
And speaking of wearing, he nodded toward her sword.
"That's an interesting choice of fashion accessory."
"My dressmaker was all out of matching parasols."
"Really?"
"I'd show you what she substitutes for reticules, but I'm not certain you'd survive." Good Lord, she was sharp. So were all 3 blades she carried, he'd wager.
"What? No pistols?"
"A weapon that's useless up close, has to be reloaded after a single use and kills more..."